Gentlemen, I'm here today in Sebring, Florida with my chairman-elect, Alan Wildstein. Alan, thanks so much for having us out. We've been here with the FADA executive team, and we just want to do Car Guys Cruizin.
Well, let's go do it.
Well, what a perfect venue. So we're
What
going
are
to
we
be
waiting
driving.
for?
What are we going in today?
So this is a 2017 Maserati Levante.
So today I have with me our chair-elect, Alan J. Wildstein. And Alan, where exactly are we, man? You're making all these crazy turns. Where are we going?
We're at the Sebring International Raceway in Sebring, Florida, and I'm doing my best to not be completely dangerous with all these cameras in front of us driving the famous Sebring International Raceway.
So Alan, as our chairman-elect, you've been kind enough to host the last 24 hours with our executive team. And what is it we're trying to do the last 24 hours for the association and our members?
You know, Ted, the importance of this organization is really to be a voice for the 1,000 dealer partners that are our members. And so I think the retreat for our purposes is really to figure out what the issues are for our industry, to protect our membership, and to find ways to engage our members to be involved in their association. It's a busy industry, and all of the dealers are super busy in their lives running their stores, and we work really hard to be there to support our dealers and to be a resource to our dealers, but we need our dealers to be involved, again, with that member engagement, to tell us what's on your mind and what issues you're facing in your stores on a daily basis, so that we can react to them and give you solutions to stay on top of what's going on in industry trends and run your business better. And I don't think there's anything on my agenda this year more important than being a resource to our members, getting our members involved, getting information to the members, and having that ear so that we can hear the things that are important to you. Well, obviously we're seeing it across the board. We have a lot of disruptors in our industry right now, and I'll tell you what, personally as a Maserati dealer, FADA has just been a tremendous resource to help protect us from changes that the manufacturer is making that clearly are not beneficial to the Maserati dealer body. And you know, we've got this going on with Hyundai and Genesis, and you know, there's a lot of things going on right now within our industry and with the manufacturers that we have to have somebody looking out for our best interest, because if we're not looking out for it, they'll change laws that affect your bottom line.
Anyone that might pick up this interview and watch it for a few minutes, hopefully they know that for 30 years we've been looking to pass franchise law protections for our dealers. But what we're experiencing now is, like the curves on this racetrack, around every corner some factory decides, well, we don't care whether it's a franchise law that says we can't do that or not. We're going to do it anyway. So we have an enforcement crisis. We asked DMV to help us enforce. No dealer wants to ever bring a lawsuit or an action against its factory. So what do you think during your term? We talked about what we're going to try to do about that.
Well, I think that's where our really, really strong position in the legislative side of things is so critical, because we have to have the people that don't know our industry and that don't understand the car business, we have to have those people on our side. And that's where things like CarPack and supporting political fundraising is so critical. It takes big dollars to go against the manufacturers. They have big dollars, and we have to compete with them in order to protect our rights and to educate our legislative staff, so that we have them as an advocate, because again, you've got to get them to put the pressure behind DMV. I think CarPack is about giving us a voice.
Right.
It's the dealer being heard, and let's face it, it takes money to get that voice. And,
it does.
And you know, my goal would be to get our fundraising to over $500,000. We've never been anywhere near that.
For an industry that is $70 billion, shouldn't we be able to reach $500,000?
If you take every dealer in Florida, if they just gave $400 or $500, we'd raise $500,000.
That's right.
If we could get every dealer in the state of Florida to give $400 or $500 towards CarPack, and if you look at what having that money and what having that representation has saved our dealers, our dealer members, it's protected just on the recall bill. How many millions of dollars of revenue that we never got before that are now it's going into your store's bottom line.
So is there an example of where the association and our lobbying prowess and advocacy has resulted in hundreds of thousands of dollars for our members?
Absolutely, retail parts pricing, and that is strictly a member, or that is strictly something that happened because of FADA, because of our lobbyists, because of our legislative support, and I attribute a lot of that to CarPack fundraising. If we didn't have those dollars funneling in that we could use to get these laws passed, and I'll tell you what, the manufacturers fought that tooth and nail, and they lost. And they lost because we had the support and the strength behind us.
Well, they fought us in the legislature first so that we had a hard time passing the bill, but when we passed it, what you're talking about is they introduced a lawsuit and challenged the constitutionality. What did we have to do? We had to go out and raise $4 million from our dealers.
Yep.
And we did it.
And we did it. And thank you to all of you that supported that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of us would thank FADA for every month when I see the money that I'm making in retail parts price markup.
You know, we're getting ready to send our dues billing out to our 850 FADA car dealer members. And you know what? On the front cover letter, what I'd really like to say is, do you remember the retail for parts reimbursement war and how much money that meant for you? The whole letter could be one sentence and say, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because honestly, Alan, shouldn't that make a dealer want to pay their dues for the rest of their life?
It should, and you know, the problem is us car guys, I'm as guilty as anybody, we have a super short memory. So, you know, we see it and then it's hard to remember, hey, look at what that's a continual, infinite, lifetime savings. That wasn't a one-year deal that goes away.
It keeps on giving, doesn't it?
For an average dealer, that could be $1 million over 4 or 5 years. And for a big dealer, it could be $1 million a year.
It has been that much for
it's
one
incredible.
dealer. Well, there's a lot going on in our industry. We are shaping this $70 billion industry every day for our members. We're talking about manufacturer overreach. We're talking about regulations that cost you money in your stores here in Sebring. So that's important for our dealers.
And you know what's so important is that many of our dealers can pick up the phone and call their House or Senate member and get them on the phone, him or her, get them to their home and get them to support their the dealer bills. I mean, and that's just, you can't put a dollar value to that.
So, right. Alan, as we think about franchise laws, you know, they're not worth anything unless they can be enforced. So during your term as chairman, we're going to try to step up enforcement.
Yeah.
What do you think that looks like?
So I think we've got to definitely focus on enforcement with DMV, because if the laws are passed but the laws are not enforced that are on the books, then it was almost purposeless to pass that law, and we have to get the DMV to enforce the laws that are being passed, and that's an issue. We've got some new people there, and they just need to be educated. And you know, the other thing is we've got to continually watch is the line makes and what the franchises are doing, and what they're trying to stick in a 5-year amendment to a franchise agreement where they throw one at you and say in 30 days this becomes the new law. And then you look and you say, well, in Florida, the franchise agreement really never terminates. If you're a dealer until they make an action to terminate you as a dealer. But a lot of people don't think that, and they sign these new franchise agreements without any representation, without any guidance, and they don't even know that they're giving away rights that this association has fought for them to have. Technicians and the shortage that this industry is facing right now for techs. We've got to focus on getting people to want to be automotive technicians, to recruit them, and then to retain them. And I think that's a hot topic right now that that
definitely is.
our board is going to work really hard on this year.
We had some money appropriated in the legislature that was going to help us spread the message about opportunities for careers in automotive, and the governor vetoed that amount of money.
Right.
But he has agreed to sit down with me and a couple of our officers and talk about why maybe his office should be more excited about creating career opportunities for our non-college bound youth.
And Ted, do you know why that is? That is because of the relationship our dealers have with the House, the Senate, the governor's office. Governor Scott knows who our dealers are. He's personally friends. They're friends. Our dealers are personally friends with him and support him financially, which is how you become friendly with him, and in many cases. And I think he made a mistake. I don't know if he realized what he vetoed. And I think the fact that he's giving you his ear to say, I will sit and meet with you, I think says volumes. He wouldn't sit and meet with you if he didn't respect who you are and who this association is and who the dealers are. And I think we'll get some traction and get some help. I sure hope so anyway.
Whoa. We're out on the track, and we were just passed by one of Alan's race cars, and it felt like we were standing still.
It was like my brother, and I think he passed us on the wrong side of the track. So luckily, he missed me completely. But that could have been more exciting.
Alan, what do you do for fun? Is this one of your avocations, driving race cars yourself?
This is a great hobby, and it's a great release of the stress that this industry kind of puts us in sometimes. It's really the fellowship and the friends I've made, that really is what racing's all about. I'm not a competitor so much, but it's sure nice to get out, and our town has a track, and they're gracious enough to let me spend time on it. And
well, you're a great supporter of your community. That's why I love working for my dealer members, because no matter where I am, I meet guys like you, and I watch how you interact in your community. So I really look at how the community looks at your corporate philanthropy, and they appreciate it a lot, don't they?